Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game is worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Spec Ops: The Line. A rescue mission to sandstormed Dubai turns into a nightmare. Is the 2012 game Spec Ops: The Line worth checking out today? Spec Ops: The Line is available on Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. On PlayStation, you can stream it via PSPlus, and it is a backwards compatible game on the Xbox. And no matter what system you choose, this game will take you about 6 to 8 hours to beat. So what exactly is Spec Ops: The Line? Well, it's a third-person shooter with light squad elements and a heavy emphasis on its story, themes, and commentary on games in general, with such content that I might even consider this a horror game. You play as Captain Walker, voiced by Nolan North, who travels to Dubai with his companions Adams and Lugo to try and rescue the stranded civilians, as well as find out what happened to the Damned 33rd, an American military group led by Colonel Conrad, who were sent to Dubai to try and help several weeks prior. Things don't go as planned, however, as they quickly learn that Dubai has turned into a war zone with various factions vying for power, including both the Damned 33rd as well as CIA-backed rebel residents. Caught in the crossfire, Walker and his team have to make the best of an awful situation, and the player has to decide if what they're doing is right or moral, even in the context of a video game. The story of this game is very thematically rich, and if you haven't experienced it, I really don't want to spoil it, but as it was released during the massive overload of modern military shooters back in 2012, Spec Ops aims to take a reflective look at the genre, as well as its glorification of the military, American imperialism, PTSD, and the true horrors of war, all while being fully aware it's a video game and you, the player, are interacting with it. The game itself is a third-person cover-based shooter with your usual variety of assault rifles, shotguns, pistols, launchers, and so on, with the mandatory turret sections that were so prevalent in the 2010s to spruce things up. The setting of Dubai does allow for some great verticality and variety in the combat arenas, and the prevalent sandstorms and sand-covered buildings lead to some interesting tactical situations that make it feel more unique. So all in all, Spec Ops: The Line is on the surface your standard military third-person shooter, but quickly becomes much more than that. So what do I like about Spec Ops: The Line? Well, the shooting is solid. The third-person shooting feels really great, and the diverse environments and encounters help the shooting stay fresh throughout the whole game. Additionally, the voice acting is just fantastic in this game. It conveys the character's steady breakdown, paired with neat touches like executions becoming more and more brutal as the characters become more and more unhinged. Nolan North really knocks it out of the park here. And lastly, this game has an incredible story as well as a great meta commentary on war games, shooting games, and power fantasies in games in general. It never feels too pretentious or too heady, but it does make you as the player reflect on the things you do and the games you enjoy in a really interesting way. When it comes to the bad, this game doesn't really have a lot of enemy variety. It's the usual dudes with guns type enemies that you get in military games. Not very exciting. Additionally, the game has some really weird difficulty spikes, especially in the later parts of the game, and with some less than generous checkpoints, there are moments in this game that you might get frustrated if you're trying to run through on a harder difficulty. And lastly, this game does have some really messed up stuff in it that I think merits a content warning. It absolutely shows the true horrors of war and even encourages the player to participate in these horrors. I really respect the way this game does not shy away from how war affects people, be it soldiers or civilians, but it might be too much for some people. As you know, I rate games here on a 3-point scale. Must play, maybe consider, don't bother. Absolutely play Spec Ops: The Line. It is a must play and it is a hidden gem. I feel that Spec Ops: The Line's critique of military shooters is just as poignant today as it was when it was released all the way back in 2012. As a huge fan of games that use the medium itself to convey themes and story, Spec Ops is one of my personal favorite games of that console generation, if not on my top 10 list of all time. As you can now play it on modern systems, I really suggest checking it out if you have any affinity for military shooters or if you enjoy games with strong, engaging stories. And that is all I have for you today. Let me know what you think about Spec Ops: The Line in the comments. Have you played it? I feel like the genius of this game was when it came out, people just thought it was another generic shooter, and as time passed, people started realizing what this game actually was. So let me know what you think about that, but regardless, go out there and check out Spec Ops: The Line.